We often think of architecture as a forward motion, a pursuit of what's new, sleek, and untouched. But what if the answers to the future are already around us, in the walls we pass every day? What if preservation wasn't a constraint, but a kind of design wisdom? In this project, we explore preservation not as something passive or nostalgic, but as a powerful design framework, one that carries embedded memory, material richness, and spatial intelligence, not to freeze time, but to extend it. I started walking through the neighborhood again, not to get somewhere, but just to notice. The morning light fell across old rooftops, casting long shadows, the kind that felt familiar, even if you've never been here before. Some houses looked worn, but each crack, each corner seemed to hold memory of routines, of seasons, of someone's everyday. And I wondered, why are we always so quick to replace what remembers us? Then the juxtaposition, tall glass towers reflecting in the sky, clean, impressive, but blank. They hadn't lived yet, they hadn't witnessed. They hadn't felt the echo of names called from the balconies or footsteps worn into the steps. And that's when the question landed. What if buildings could remember? What if we designed not to erase, but to carry something forward? A shape, a feeling, a story still unfolding.
There used to be an old structure here. I remember walking by it every day on my way to class. Its bricks were worn, the windows dusty, but it had a presence, like it remembered you each time you passed. Now, that building is gone, fenced off, replaced by something shiny and new. Modern? Yes, but also quiet. It doesn't carry the same echo. The new walls don't know the stories that used to live here. People talk about progress, about efficiency, about making space. But when we clear away old buildings, we clear away the rhythms of memory, the spaces where people gathered, where laughter echoed, where community was formed. It made me wonder, what if preservation isn't about stopping change? What if it's about guiding it? Could those old drawings and aging walls guide us in finding a way to preserve historical cultural identity while still being innovative for the present? Current research literature on the topic asks similar questions. A study by Serbian architects in 2015 said that with the intensive development of modern techniques in architecture, how to preserve a building that represents cultural heritage in an authentic state and inspire it with a life of modern building adapted to new purpose is becoming an increasing problem. They propose that the best way to find this balance are to follow several important principles. These are discrete intervention, evaluation and preservation of existing ambient and context, and clear differentiation between old and new as a means of avoiding historical forgery. Other contemporary literature highlights the importance of maintaining this architectural heritage, especially among communities that rely on tourism. A 2013 study from Kuwait found that the benefits of domestic tourism promotion through architectural heritage development sites can be far reaching. For communities, it can strengthen the local economy, increase community pride, and stimulate economic growth. All of this raised the question for us: what does it actually look like, in practice, to design with memory? To not erase, but renew and build upon. That led us to one real example: a renovation project where the past wasn't demolished, but reimagined in an exemplary way. This was the River House student residence renewal at Harvard University in Massachusetts. The River House had a history in its walls from years of student living, the kind you could see and feel. But it was aging: worn bricks, dim corridors, and a quiet courtyard that once brought people together had faded. The architects at Kieran Timberlake didn't start over. They listened. They let the existing building guide the changes. With more light, better comfort, and new accessibility, the space became usable again, but stayed familiar. Now it's alive again. Students gather in the courtyard, light fills the halls, and the space feels like it remembers. One student said, "It's like the place knows who lives here."
Before exploring the larger conversation around preservation, we felt it was important to hear from someone directly impacted by the changes. This is a response from a student currently living in the renovated space. Has your experience changed since the renovation? A question meant to invite a thoughtful and personal reflection.
Absolutely. It's like a huge difference. Like it's like day and night difference. Before renovation, the building felt like kind of neglected and not much in use. That was what I felt. But yeah, even though it was functional for sure, but somewhere you would spend more time than necessarily outside, and because you felt cold, just not the temperature, but like emotionally too. You don't feel attached. You just come home, do whatever you would like, and you had to do, and then leave again. Now, entire atmosphere has shifted. The lighting is warmer, and it makes such a difference. It actually feels like home, cozy and welcoming. The rooms feel more connected throughout design, and the shared spaces look more comfortable. I avoid them, but now I used to avoid them actually. And now I find myself sitting in the lounge with a book or chatting with the neighbors. It feels like, the building is inviting you to slow down and be present. That's something I didn't expect it as if when I, just started living in the building, but I really appreciate after the renovation, it has changed a lot. So I enjoy living right now. I love being at home and yeah, it's a good experience after renovation.
Preservation today stands at turning point. Some projects succeed, others erase too much, replacing history with the blank, impressive spaces that lack soul. The tension is clear. How do we move forward without wiping memory clean? Can we build can buildings hold stories, not just serve function? These are the questions shaping preservations now. This is where our work begins. Listening what already is in there, exploring how materials and spaces carry memory and how that memory shapes futures. Preservation isn't about freezing time, it's about care, continuity, and reimagine without erasing it. There is something powerful about watching people walk by the same walls their parents and grandparents did. Some pause, point, tell stories because the space remembers with them. These buildings aren't frozen in time, they have evolved. But when we erase too much, we also erase belonging. When we fold the past into the present, people don't just use the space, they feel seen by it. Preservation isn't about freezing time, it's all about carrying it forward. When we preserve memory in design, we preserve connection, identity, and care.
We're standing at a choice point. We can keep clearing the past away, or we can build forward with memory in mind. Not to freeze time, but to carry it forward. Because when we treat heritage as a beginning, not as an obstacle, something powerful happens. We make space for both memory and imagination. We invite the past to walk beside us as we shape the future. Innovation doesn't always begin in silence. Sometimes it begins in listening. And maybe the future we're chasing is already under our feet. In the bricks, the corners, the echoes. We just have to look closely enough. Preservation isn't about holding on to the past, it's about building a future that remembers. A future where design carries care, not just form. Where innovation and memory work together, not against each other.